The appellant may come and give the submission.
Hello.
For dealing with the second and third issue, reserving 1 minute for the rebuttal. If Lordship wants to hear the summary of the case,
Yes, I believe a summary would be helpful.
much obliged. In this case, Appellant versus K Sarker, there is 3 points. That is, Rahman Appellant has a contract with K Sarker that he must have to finish the construction within 5th of the July, and K Sarker accepted his contract, and later on he made some change in the contract and demanding some extra payment. In this case, 5,000 taka for completion of the case, and later on, Appellant Rahman has a fresh contract with K Sarker, and he accepted it. But after hearing a news on Facebook, he demanded his due money with some interest, and the court accepted his appeal, and here my client is here to the appellate division.
Okay, counsel, you can proceed with your submission.
Much obliged. Your Lordship, if you do not have any queries, the counsel seeks permission to proceed with the submission.
Yes, proceed.
Much obliged. Your Lordship, for establishing the case, the counsel states that the payment of leisure sum together with some additional goods, in this case, 10 kg Rasmalai, is a sufficient consideration for creditor's promise to follow the balance. Your Lordship, for establishing the first issue, the counsel will propose 2 contents better. There was acceptance of fresh consideration from the respondents. Number 2, Reazul is not acceptable here. Coming to the first content, your Lordship, counsel states that there was acceptance of fresh consideration from the respondent. If I may refer to the paragraph 3 in the second and third line, that after the completion of K Sarker's duty, my client Rahman, due to financial difficulties, had offered the respondent 20 lakh taka along with 10 kg Rasmalai.
Okay, what was the price of the total amount that F. Sarker had to pay?
At the first instance, it
Yes.
was 80 lakh, and after the realization of the contract, it increased at 23 lakhs.
Okay, so what was the due amount?
5 lakhs.
5 lakhs. Alright, you can proceed.
Much obliged. For the respondent 20 lakh taka along with 10 kg Rasmalai instead of 23 lakhs. Such elements, according to Lord Campbell, Chief Justice in Hartley versus Pennsylvania, where there was a voyage and in the middle of the voyage, some crew left, and the captain offered more money to the crew to complete the voyage. Which defines as if any party is making any changes to the existing contract, there has to be fresh value, not the value that was in the previous contract, but there was something new is being exchanged with the parties.
Okay, counsel. Thank you for your submission. I'll hear from your junior counsel.
Much obliged. Much obliged. Your Lordship, I am Harisur. I am appearing as second counsel for the appellant. I will deal with second and third issues, Your Lordship. Coming first, the second issue appellant submits. The latter variation of the contract to increase the amount of 5 lakh taka for the timely completion is neither possible nor enforceable under the contract law. And to add my argument, the counsel shorted the issue of 1 point. The latter contract was voidable for undue influence. 2 contentions, Your Lordship. First, respondent had a position of influence over Mr. Rahman. Second, the latter agreement is voidable. Coming to the first contention, the appellant said that contention. Your Lordship, if you look into paragraph 1, last 4 lines of the compares, we can see that my client
Mr. Rahman had already communicated the importance of Respondent Mr. K Sarker doing the job by 5th April. He lead the rented the place and tenant would be paying rent after moving into data paragraph 2 last line 4.
Counsel, I am not accepting your submission of undue influence because both Mr. Sarker and the other party were at the same level, where undue influence usually happens when it's a corporation and on the other side is the consumer. You can proceed with your last submission, Counsel.
I beg your pardon, Your Lordship.
Last issue.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Lordship, I'm moving the third and the last issue. The doctrine of promissory estoppel should operate to prevent the respondent from the recovering rest of the money. There is 2 points, Your Lordship. First, the element of promissory estoppel are present. Second, respondent is not entitled to the remaining money. Coming to the first point, elements of promissory estoppel have been made. Lordship, promissory estoppel assumes the existence of legal rights and liabilities over reliance on promise. The elements need to apply, said doctrine had been laid down in Quick Construction in the versus American Airlines 1990. The elements of promissory estoppel are present in the current circumstance. Second point is the respondent is not entitled to remaining money. Your Lordship have already established that the latter agreement of additional 5 lakh taka was done under undue influence, making the contract is voidable. If your Lordship doesn't have any further queries, may the Council have to pair.
Okay, proceed with the pairs, Counsel.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The payment was with some additional goods, in this case 10 kg Rasmalai, promised to finger the balance. The second pair is the latter variation of the contract to increase the amount of 5 lakh taka from the timely completion is neither possible nor enforceable under the law of contract. This is all from Appellant side, Your Lordship.
Thank you, Counsel. Now, would we hear from the appellants? The first speaker, please proceed with your submission. Thank you.
Good afternoon. May it please the court. My name is Hasan, along with the counsel Fariha Mitu. Today we are appearing before the court to represent the respondent, Mr. K Sarker, in today's case. I will be addressing the first 2 issues and my co-counsel will be addressing the last issue. The respondent claims that the payment of necessary together with some additional goods is not sufficient consideration, in this case the 10 kg Rasmalai, but the creditors promised to forgo the balance. The payment of necessary together with some additional goods, when the contract was made between Rahman and K Sarker, there was only mention necessarily about the monetary consideration. So there was no legal obligation for the additional goods which can be considered to be the legal consideration. So the 10 kg Rasmalai in this case has no economic value in general sense. So it can never be equal to 3 lakh taka which is remaining to be paid. So Rahman should pay the rest of the money.
Well, are you telling the council that the 10 kg Rasmalai was free? No one had to purchase it with money. There is some value in the Rasmalai, isn't there?
I do agree with your lordship, but there was only discuss about the monetary consideration. But the 10 kg Rasmalai might have a price, but it cannot be equivalent to 3 lakh taka.
Well, the law is not concerned with whether the Rasmalai is adequate. We're only concerned with whether it's sufficient. Okay. So, please, hurry up and finish your submission.
Much obliged, your lordship. Coming to the second issue, as per the section 62 of the contract at 1872, it is allowed to the variation of the contract if both the parties are agreed with their mutual consent. So Mr. K Sarker informed Mr. Rahman for increasing the amount for 5 lakh taka for the timely completion of the work because he was afraid that the flat would not be complete for his first tenant to move in. he was shocked by the increasement of the price of 5 lakh taka, but he reluctantly agreed and instructed Mr. K Sarker to continue the work. So he was agreed to the new contract, we could say in that sense. And also the later version of contract is possible enforceable under law of contract, since they both mutually agreed to the alteration of contract. So Mr. F. Rahman should be liable for the increase of amount for 5 lakh taka, and he must pay the rest of the money.
Okay, proceed with your, Mitu, please proceed with the prayers.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Just proceed with the prayers, you don't have to make any submissions. Prayers, yes.
Your Lordship, Honorable Judges, may it please the court. Much obliged. If your Lordship have no further queries, I would like to, in light of the authorities cited, the Council asks the court to declare that the payment of a lesser sum with additional goods is not sufficient for consideration. The variation of contract to increase 5 lakh taka is possible and enforceable under the law of contract. The doctrine of consent estoppel does not operate to prevent the respondent from recovering the rest of money, and therefore applicant is liable to pay the outstanding amount plus interest. The respondent rests his court.
Thank you, Counsel. The court is now adjourned. But before that, I would like to make a small announcement. Within next week, we will be releasing the next pack for the intra-moot competition. So those who are interested, I would request you to join the club as soon as possible. And most importantly, the fact will be on tort law. There is a NGO called Tort Law Project. What you just saw was a case where there was a construction contract, 23 lakh taka, or বদলে 20 lakh টাকা দিয়েছে, আর বাকি 3 লাখ টাকা না দিয়ে এক প্যাকেট 10 কেজি রসমালাই ধরিয়ে দিয়েছে। তো একটা পার্টি বলতেছে যে এই 3 লাখ টাকার বদলে 10 লাখ টাকা, মানে 3 লাখ টাকার বদলে রসমালাইর প্যাকেট গুড এনাফ। আরেক দল বলতেছে যে রসমালাইয়ের কোনো ভ্যালু নেই, আমাদের যে বাকি টাকাটা এবং এটার যে ইন্টারেস্টটা আমাদেরকে বুঝিয়ে দাও। এবং এই সব কিছুর সমস্যাটা হয়েছে ফেসবুকের জন্য, কারণ টাকাটা না দিয়ে ভদ্রলোক তার ফ্যামিলিকে নিয়ে রয়্যাল টিউলিপ বা কক্সবাজার এক জায়গায় ঘুরতে চলে গিয়েছিল, কিন্তু অন্য পার্টিকে বলেছে আমার টাকা নেই। তো এই আমরা দেখলাম একটি মুটিং। আশা করি আপনারা সবাই মুটিংয়ের সাথে জড়িত থাকবেন এবং ইন্ট্রা মুট কোর্ট কম্পিটিশনে পার্টিসিপেট করবেন। অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। থ্যাংক ইউ স্টুডেন্টস, থ্যাংক ইউ এভরিওয়ান।